Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Film Busters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusterspod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Or shoot over and get some groovy merchandise at society6.com/filmbusters.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters. So how does everyone feel that Adam is the only person on this conversation that hasn't seen the Better Call Saul finale?
I know, I should be watching it right now, but instead I've decided to record with, well, only one of the film busters today, because one of them's busy, apparently.
Yes.
So we've replaced him with young Francis, who me and Ben were on his YouTube channel. What do you want to call it?
just channel. It was a random chat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a good chat.
So we invited him along for this Breaking Bad
Experience.
spectacular.
Yeah. Young Francis as well. I kind of like that. Sounds like a like a rap name or something.
Yeah.
Young Francis and
I'm not the youngest in here anymore. You're like 6 months younger.
there we are. Yeah, exactly.
Look at that.
I have seen. Obviously, we won't give spoilers away for
No.
Better Call Saul, but I have had a cry or two today. So,
Have you watched
just
it? Have
thinking
you
about
watched it more
things.
than once?
No, I've watched clips though. Again.
Are you going to rewatch it this evening?
I think I'll let it stew for a bit and then
I think you should.
Get back into it. But not giving anything away. Obviously, it's going to be emotional. It coming to an end. But
I asked this question to Paul, and I ask it to you. Are you satisfied?
yes, I am.
You took a deep breath then.
Yeah. Paul took a pause as well. He just it was like a processing moment.
It's just a lot, isn't it? Also, it's been such a big part of like my life, just watching this show and Breaking Bad as well. So it's just a lot. So that's why the big breath, because I feel very reflective about it all. But yeah, I guess it kind of ties in with do they know what we're watching yet today?
They've seen the episode title.
Oh, of course they have. Yeah, welcome. Yeah. They know what we're talking about. So I guess it's a good podcast for me to join in, because I'm a little bit obsessed.
Absolutely perfect one.
Is this the first time you've kind of watched a TV show and it's ended with the world at the same time as well? Like you watched Breaking Bad after it's finished, didn't you? So.
Yeah, so I watched Breaking Bad late, and I always tell people I only watched it because Adam kept telling me to, and I kept thinking, there's so much hype, I'm not going to bother watching it because it's kind of like one of those. But I watched it, and it was obviously incredible. And then now, watching Better Call Saul in like real time was crazy. But I finished like Ozark in real time with the rest of the world. But
yeah, but I mean that didn't hit you as big as this, did it?
No.
You haven't spoken to every single person you've met about.
Exactly. So it's been real. But I guess we're not here to talk about Saul. We'll do that.
You just need
another
to
time.
start The Sopranos now, my friend.
I know.
You haven't watched Sopranos?
I haven't. No, I know.
Oh.
It's on the list. It's on the long list of things to watch. There's a lot of films I haven't seen as well, which I'm sure you guys will be very upset about. But
It's fine. You'll get to them.
I will.
Right. Yes. Today we are talking about El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie. But before we get onto that, let's just give a bit of a plug for our Patreon channel, which is www.patreon.com/filmbusters. We have exclusive content for all our lovely listeners over there, and they get exclusive episodes. They can control the show, and we're just a lovely little family over there. Adam, what are we doing after this episode on the Patreon channel?
Well, before this episode, spoke about TV films that we think could work if they were adapted into a film. Yes, or films that can benefit or complement it. We have some nice little discussion points on that one.
There were some good choices on there.
Yeah, there were some good choices.
I'm intrigued to hear what you guys said. But
What would you have picked?
Well, I'd say everyone has to wait for the Patreon post. But I don't know. What would I pick? Maybe... I don't know, maybe the perfect one already exists, and I'm going to say the Recess movie, because that was great, and that was my childhood. So, yeah.
That's an interesting one. Interesting
Scooby-Doo
pick.
Monsters Unleashed.
Yeah, I thought of that just now, but I was thinking TV shows that had films, and I was like, the Recess
Goofy movie.
That was great. Goofy movie, yeah.
10 out of 10 banger.
10 out of 10 banger, yeah. Get it on the podcast. Give
Hell
people
yeah.
what they want.
We'll see. See what our future holds.
Yeah.
Right. So this would now normally lead us on to our segment with Ben, who gives us a little quiz. Each episode, he has 2 questions for us, which is related to the film we're doing, which today is El Camino. But Francis, you're taking the reins and you're giving us the questions for me and Adam to answer.
I am indeed, yes. So I've listened to this segment before, and I do know that Paul is like way out in front, and I don't know how many points Adam has. But
Can I give you them?
Yeah, we can.
I think he's like 9 points ahead or something like that now.
So at the moment, I'm on 23 points. Ben is on 15 points, and Adam is on 14 points. So you
14,
could actually
okay.
level or overtake Ben this episode.
So it's closer than I thought it was. So
Yeah.
Okay, but so my thinking was I didn't want to go too hard because I know Adam doesn't pay attention to the finer details for questions.
Breaking Bad, though.
It is Breaking Bad. But so I've got one, I think, fairly easy one and one hard one.
Okay.
So which one do you want first, hard or easy?
Adam,
Start easy, go hard.
Not easy. Okay. So I'll just come right out with it. What did Badger get Skinny Pete for Christmas?
Oh shit!
I thought this was easy.
Oh, the aftershave. Oh, I
Well
can't
done.
remember what the name of the aftershave is.
I'll give you that.
Well done. Well done.
I think it's the. Is it like a shampoo? Maybe. Oh no, it's
an
like a spray.
aftershave.
It's a spray.
Yeah.
Any extra points? I don't know if you do extra points, but do you remember the name of it?
No, I can't remember the name of it.
knows.
Okay,
It's like Gucci or something like that.
So Badger goes, he goes, obsession's the bomb, yo. I got it for him for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, because they're telling
Yeah.
Jesse to use it after a shower or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
But well done, Adam. See, the easy one. I thought you could
That was quite a hard question
get
for
some
the
points
easy
there.
one.
Wow, God. So this is, and the next one actually, when I wrote this down watching the film, I thought that because I know sometimes I feel like I hear Paul will make notes about questions that might pop up. So I thought this may be something that you wrote down, and you're smiling now. So who knows?
I haven't got my notes in front of me because I'm on
Okay.
camera right now.
Yeah.
I haven't got notes in front of me. So
Well,
come on,
we'll
I'm
see.
not gonna,
We'll see.
I'm not going to cheat.
So the harder question.
Oh shit!
What? Oh no! I'm looking at the wrong one. So the book that Todd's housekeeper took. It was an encyclopedia, all the letters. What letter was
M.
the book? Yes,
Yes,
correct.
Mexico.
Well
I
done.
knew that as well, which
Mexico.
is annoying.
Well done. Yeah,
Yes,
that's it.
yes.
Apparently that was easier than the other one. You got that
found
very
that
quickly.
easier.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah.
I thought you were going
a
to
point
ask like
each.
how much money was fucking Jesse short or
No.
like
1800.
1800.
I did also have another one, but I actually didn't write down the answer, so I don't know. But I was going to ask you who the 3 guys' names were at the end of the film, but we won't
What,
get to
the
that.
people who had left?
No, the three after the big shoot off.
Yeah.
The 3 guys.
The ones who survived?
Yeah, he gets their
Of course, yeah, he actually
their
says their
names.
names. Yeah.
because he gets their driver's licenses out.
That would have been a tough one.
Yeah, but I thought that was too tough, so I kind of threw it away.
Well,
Yeah, well done. You got a point each.
that's good. That's
Go
good.
you guys. Yeah.
So we're actually on now 24 for me, 15 for Ben, and 15 for Adam. You're
I might
leveling.
not come last.
It's neck and neck.
Right. Without further ado, let's move on to El Camino.
Hi, yes. There's a young man in my store, and he refuses to leave.
Hey, stop.
Yeah, he might be armed.
Stop me.
Not overtly, but yes, I'm beginning to feel threatened.
Are you serious?
Sure. My name is Ed Galbraith. I own best quality vacuum, 2714 4th Street, Northwest. That's correct. I would appreciate it very much if you send someone immediately.
You are so full of crap. You didn't call anybody just now. You faked it. And you want to know how I know? You got as much to lose as I do. More. Way more. When your cops get here and they bust me, first question they're gonna ask is, what am I doing here trying to hand over a hefty bag full of cash to a dude who runs a vacuum cleaner store? What comes out then? Huh? Oh, and you want to know what else is bullshit? You know, like word to the wise, next time you try to pull this shit on someone, you don't just hang up on a 911 call. They won't let you, because the lady or dude or whoever is like, stay in the line with me, sir. Stay in the line until the officers arrive. And if you did hang up, they'd call you back immediately. But hey, guess what? Seriously, yo. Pathetic.
Wow, you love that response time. Take your money.
Right, everyone, yesterday we're doing El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie from 2019 by Vince Gilligan. This is a spoiler episode, so if you haven't seen El Camino, or the whole series of Breaking Bad probably, we will be ruining it for you, but we're not going to ruin the Better Call Saul finale, so you're alright there.
We better not do anyway, because I haven't watched it.
No, we'll be in big trouble, I think.
We'll end up accidentally comparing.
Yeah.
So, before I get into that, I'm just going to say some actors who have appeared in films we've done before on the podcast. You got any you can throw out there, Adam, that you think we've done before?
I have
Robert
a guess.
Foster.
That's what I was... Yeah.
Who'd you say?
Robert Foster.
Oh, Robert Forster, yes, we have done him before, but do you know what film?
Jackie Brown, surely.
We haven't done Jackie Brown.
Brown.
That's the only film I've kind of really known from. but-
He was
I
in
can't-
Mulholland Drive.
Okay.
He was a detective in that.
Okay.
We've also done Jesse Plemons.
The Irishman?
Yes,
yeah,
The
The
Irishman. He was in The Irishman. And
There we are.
also
Been in so-
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's in a lot of things.
Yeah. He does show up a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's had the best paced post Breaking Bad career.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Out of all of them, he's the only one who's kind of.
He's eaten the most as well.
Well, he did in Camino. He's not fat anymore.
We'll get to that later.
We've also got Scott MacArthur, who plays Neil, the welder.
Oh, okay. We'll see him.
He was in Halloween Kills.
Okay.
I remember him as part of the mob. I didn't recognise him as soon as I watched this again. I was like, what do I know you from? And then last one, Larry Hankin, who plays Joe.
Oh, Joe. Go for Joe. The car guy.
He was in
okay.
Home Alone as a policeman. I don't think he even has a name in that film. But he was the one who was eating the donuts while he was being called by Kevin's mum, I believe. But yes, that's all the people that have appeared before. Adam, do you want to tell everyone what the plot of this film is?
So yeah, this film is set directly at the end of Breaking Bad, and it follows Jesse's story and the next steps he takes, and it also has some flashbacks to the end series of Breaking Bad, and even before then actually, in one instance. But yeah, it's just following Jesse's story and what he kind of went through, and it's all from his point of view when he was kind of captive by the Nazis at the end of it all, and then his escape.
Absolutely.
It almost sounds made up saying captive by the Nazis, but it's actually true. It is.
I still
it's
think it's so weird that Breaking Bad put Nazis in it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like a Sons of Anarchy gang. It's like,
Yeah.
Sounds like a B movie when he was captured by the Nazis.
Yeah, it's like, oh god.
That's correct. You're correct, Adam. I wonder, Francis, if you could do Ben's segment while he's away. Do you know any history of like the making of El Camino, like why they decided to do this film?
I'm gonna have to try and rack my brain. But I've got it on Blu-ray because like I say, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
And when the film finishes, it just goes straight into the after, breakdown where they're just talking about like behind the scenes. So Vince Gilligan, I think, said he made it because everyone was asking him what happened to Jesse, and he got fed up, so he just made the film. But an interesting tidbit that he said was initially his idea was that throughout the whole film, Jesse wouldn't be able to get a good night's sleep, and he eventually ends up in jail, and he finally falls asleep, and that was going to be his idea for the film.
Okay.
But everyone told him, like, you can't have Jesse go to jail. No one wants to see Jesse go to jail. So he completely changed the story, and then we got El Camino as we did. So that's a little
I like that
behind the scenes fact.
I remember because we went to see Aaron Paul. He came into work, and we went to see him.
Yeah,
and he looked Francis in the eyes.
Yeah, that was a great day. I specifically came in. I am going to sound like an absolute nut job, but yeah, because obviously Adam through work got me, because it was for the Jonathan Ross show or something.
Yeah, it was the Jonathan Ross.
And I was like, I definitely want to go and see Aaron Paul. So and I went like behind in the green room, I guess you call it.
Yeah, he was in the green room afterwards, and he was holding his daughter, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was trying to be respectful. I was being respectful.
Staring at him.
You didn't say anything.
But I was staring at him. I didn't say anything. I think I was just like gawking at him. That was a bit of a crazy moment. Yeah, we had an eye-locking moment, which I'll remember for the rest of my life.
He made a voice note to remember.
I'm sure he'll remember as well.
Yeah, he remembers. He hits me up all the time. He says, "Oh, you're that weird British dude."
But I remember him saying on the show, he said they filmed it in secret, and the only way they could do it was they used the Better Call Saul crew at the time, because everyone just thought to get rid of all the press kind of on it, because nobody really knew about it, did they? When it was like, a Breaking Bad movie's coming out in 2 months' time, but no one was like all over the filming, like taking pictures. So they just used the crew and from Better Call Saul, so it didn't look like El Camino's up filming, because it was just Better Call Saul filming, so everyone was a bit like,
if anything, it would have been like, Jesse might be appearing in the next season.
Yeah.
Also, one moment I can't remember where it is they're filming. I think it's the Walter Jesse scene, and they were filming, and they were like kind of just wrapping up, and as they were doing that, the Breaking Bad tour turned up, and because apparently it's one of the spots, so they had to like all rush out the back door, so people would know, because otherwise obviously they're going to know who all these people are, so they had to run away and get out. So
you'd be so pissed off if you're on that tour and you just missed it by a second.
I know, there's some people out there who were this close to meeting them filming it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't to be. Yeah.
Cool. Right.
Okay.
I think it's time to get into this. It is my pick, so I get to decide the first impressions.
He's not handing it over to our guest like an honourable person.
No, I'm gonna do it because I want to go first. Then I'm gonna go to Adam, and then I'm gonna go to Francis.
That's okay. Yeah, very, very respectful. I appreciate it.
Okay. So I think the film is like a great return to the Breaking Bad universe, and it's wonderful to see Jesse again, of course, and to finish his journey, and the whole thing feels great. It's like an above average episode of Breaking Bad, which is always welcome, but it only feels like a great episode. It's not a perfect episode. This is not like Felina for Jesse as it is for like Walt. I don't think the stakes are really there, especially when it's like being interspersed with like scenes of Fat Todd and Bullcat Walt. Yeah. Not to say those scenes aren't enjoyable, because they're very nice to see, but those things kind of took away from the film a little. It's all wonderful stuff. I'm just not sure if it was necessary, and I'm inclined to say I prefer seeing Jesse like smashing through those gates of the compound, crying, than happy in Alaska. And that is my first impressions.
Okay.
That's why I went first. Because I wanted to build up.
Okay. So, it kind of does feel it's very much an episode rather than this whole movie landscape. It is, it doesn't feel 100% necessary, but I just still love every moment of it. It's just nice to just be back in that world and kind of that phase of just give me more. There is some parts that work as well, and they feel like necessary, and there's parts of it that just feel, like you said, unnecessary. There's a bit of like padding out. There's a bit of like, oh, this is just nice, but do we need this? If it was an episode during Breaking Bad, it would work perfectly. But when you're thinking like you're doing a movie afterwards that you've really got to put your name behind, it just felt a bit paddy here and there. But also I quite enjoy it as like, you can take it as you want it. Like, you can watch this and say like, this is his version of what happened to Jesse, but then you can also still kind of make up your mind of what you wanted to happen to Jesse. Like, if you did want him to go to jail, or you whatever, like, you don't think he runs away, like he still stays, like goes to prison and then comes out of it in like 10 years time, and it's like a kind of like, this is what I would have done, but we're not forcing it down your throat. It's like, it's here on the side if you want to have a look. It's not part of the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I get the whole point of, is it necessary? And I don't think it is necessary, but I still think it was worthwhile, because it feels more like an epilogue than anything. You have this massive, great story in Breaking Bad, and like you say, this does feel a little bit less high stakes than Breaking Bad was, but it's kind of I kind of just enjoy it as a sort of slow ending just to Jesse's story, because I think Jesse is owed an ending. And you're right in the fact that him smashing through the gates and like the ambiguity of all of that was epic, and it was enough. But I like seeing him wrap everything up, and we'll get into this later, I guess, but all the people from his life sort of come back throughout this film. So you see his parents, and you see Todd, who was his like sort of enemy in a way,
Pete and Badger,
and like Pete and Badger, yeah, exactly. So I feel like it's just a really nice tying up of Jesse's story, and for that reason I think it was enough. But you are right, it wasn't necessary. And as a film, like a standalone film, if you didn't know Breaking Bad, that's when I start to think, is this actually amazing?
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. Yeah.
That is the balance, isn't it? Because I was thinking that as well when I was watching it. I was like, if this was a film and I didn't know the guy, would this actually be any good? I think it'd be a good film, because there'd definitely be stakes there. Like, I think it's great when he's in the apartment and he's like, it's a standoff. I think this is great.
Yeah,
that's great. It's a great moment, just standalone, not even anything to do with Breaking Bad. But then the rest of it, is it just trying to pull on our heartstrings?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's Jesse.
I know, but
that's all
he's
he's done throughout the whole of Breaking Bad is pull on people's heartstrings.
But standalone, does that do anything?
Yeah, if you didn't know Breaking Bad, would it be the same? That's the sort of...
Yeah, but you wouldn't watch this film if you didn't know Breaking Bad.
But a film still has to, exist on its own. It still has to be able... some people have watched El Camino, I'm sure, who don't know anything about Breaking Bad or Saul, So it kind of still has to work. And I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I just think the effect of what happens and the emotional weight of a lot of things is kind of lessened because you probably don't care as much.
Well, that happens with loads of series of films. If
it's
a film that's it's got previous before it, then like if you looked at even the Marvel universe, like,
well, yeah, you're fine.
The stakes are only set there because of what's come before.
Yeah,
it's true.
I will say, I know we'll do scores later, but I feel like I have two scores, and it is often this way, like Adam says, for Marvel films, because I get so invested in Marvel. I have like two scores, like what my heart says and then what my brain says. So I feel like there is also the same for this, but we'll decide which one we pick out of those two scores. Okay. Later.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Francis on that one. Every time I'm watching it, I'm like, I love it, every moment of it. And then you also, your mind gets a little bit critical of it, and you're like, how much? It's like brain over heart. It's like, what do you go for? It's like, who do you let win?
I was just gonna say, the first time I watched it, I remember just being like in awe. I was just so happy, just to spend, like Adam said earlier, just to spend more time in this universe. I was just so happy. So that, like, it does cloud your judgment a little bit, but I've seen it about 4 times now probably. So the effect of that kind of, oh my god, it's Jesse post Breaking Bad, it does wear off a little bit. But yeah,
I've watched it 3 times now. I watched it first one with you, loved it. Then the second time I watched it, I thought it was a bit wasn't as good as I remember. But then this time I watched it, I remember it. I think I enjoyed it a lot more.
That's good.
Okay.
I think like you're just there for the fun now. Like you're not watching it. Obviously, we're going to talk about it afterwards. So you kind of got to watch it in a critical view. But I just didn't want to watch it in a critical view. You just want to sit back and just
That's
let
what
it
film's
play out.
about, man. You just got to sit back and enjoy this stuff. You don't have to be critical all the time.
Until Ben comes along and makes you analyse everything and criticise everything.
I mean, I think when you get to a point when you're watching a film where you feel like you're over analysing something, then I feel like that film's lacking something, right? Because you wouldn't do it otherwise.
Because you're not immersed. The whole point of film, it's not the whole point, but a good film, you'll be immersed and you won't realise that you're thinking about anything. You're just consuming it, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like the first introduction to Jesse again. I absolutely love just seeing how far Jesse's come by just seeing Skinny Pete and Badger just sitting there playing their games, just acting like teenagers, just druggy teenagers. And then Jesse comes to the door, and it's like this is how far he's come. He's just like broken down guy. He used to be like these guys, and he's gone so far. It's like I feel for him so much.
I got a bit of goosebumps just then. You talking about that? God, I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. He has. Jeez, he's been on a journey.
Yeah.
It's also, there's maturity in certain situations that he's learnt from. Like in this here, he's like, it's the first time you kind of see him as like a man.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's so broken that he's got nothing to lose, and yet so he can just think straight. He just, like, when he goes in and confronts all the guys for the extra bit of money, and he's got the like, that's not a Jesse thing, like that's a Mike thing.
Yeah.
And like that's who he's learnt from now, and like he's just a different man, and he's just like, I need out of here. I don't care what happens right now. If I die in the process, I'm getting away from this town.
Yeah, I think that's where these interspersed scenes work, because it kind of shows that balance of where he's all like, yo, bitch. And he's like, he's not doing that in this film.
No.
He's not that guy anymore. He's changed. He's been broken down so much. He's just not he's not the Jesse we used to know. And I can see that. That's the only reason I see those scenes, what they're doing.
Yeah. So the flashbacks, because it's a big part of this film, right? I will say, I think they work like so incredibly well for telling the story, because it's almost like a little jigsaw puzzle, and each one kind of gives you that little extra bit of information of what Jesse's thinking or what he's planning to do. So you've obviously got and they all kind of link up, which I think works really well. So yeah, obviously opens with Jesse talking to Mike about where would you go, and he says Alaska, and then that is where he ends up going, because so that's like what he was kind of thinking about, right? And then you've got all the bits with Todd, and I love it when he goes to Todd's apartment, and he looks back through the eye hole. What do you call it? The little hole in the door. Eye hole? Is that it?
Spy hole.
Spy hole. I don't know. But so you're expecting it to be. So he goes to his apartment in present time, and then he looks through the spy hole, and then it's the flashback, but you kind of don't realize it until it pulls back out again. And I think like that, all that sort of stuff works really well. And it is, again, it's that you don't know why Jesse is at Todd's, and it's only when you learn through the flashback that Todd hid his money somewhere that you're like, oh, okay, so Jesse's trying to get his money, and it kind of keeps feeding you along. So I think it works really well in that aspect as like a story, because it doesn't just reveal everything straight away. It's not like, oh, I need money, I'm going to Todd's. It like slowly feeds you the information, which I think is like a satisfying way to tell a story. So and I was giving it grief earlier, but I think as a story told, it is well done.
I think that's also half the reason why. I mean, I think it's a great film, but the stakes have only been built in the film. So, like, you're getting all this information about the stuff hidden in Todd's apartment, and it's all like, the only stakes are there because they've suddenly just told us it's now relevant just to this film. It wasn't relevant to Breaking Bad. It's like they've created this story, it's all been created just for the film, rather than, because I like when stuff's paying off from the whole series you've been watching. That's why it doesn't really feel necessary, because the end goal of this whole situation is Jesse's free, and we get that at the end of Breaking Bad.
But he's proper free now. His ends are done. It's like, I get that the story hasn't come out of nowhere though. Like the whole everyone looking for Todd's money hasn't come from nowhere. It's been there, obviously.
Has it though?
The Nazis are going to have people who know what they've got and hear about it. There's other people, gangs, that are going to step in and go, well, suddenly there's £1 million knocking around here. Let's go find it. Like, it's a natural fallout. It's not
established in the show, but you kind of would expect it to be a thing.
Talking about Mike, I know you brought up Mike. I just want to ask this, because you are the Breaking Bad aficionado, I feel like. When they're sitting on the bank at the beginning, is that where Mike dies?
I think, well, so in terms of real life location where they filmed it, apparently it's like that same river, so yes.
Okay, yeah.
But in terms of like locations established in the show, I don't think they're necessarily linked.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it's like this. It's the same time. I mean, like, like the location, because it felt like very much like this is where he was sitting when his end came.
Yeah. In my opinion, do you know when he gets taken with Jesse, he has to look after Jesse, and Gus is like driving around doing all those errands. That's when it feels like it could have happened, when they're out driving and just when they become buddies, kind of thing. Like,
well, I haven't watched Breaking Bad in a while, but it happens. It's just before. I think it'll be season 5, just before Jesse tells Walt, that he's out, and he's like, and I think Walt says, I'm like, you. To leave your money or whatever, I can't remember, but they have a big falling out.
That kind of links. That makes sense for it to be there.
Because he in the opening of El Camino, he says he's not going to be happy, and then Mike's like, but, that's my Mike impression. I kind of wanted to go back to Skinny Pete and Badger, just because that opening I think was perfect for me, and I think that the pacing slows down a bit later once you get to Todd, Jesse Plemons' character, but the Skinny Pete Badger bit, you're so right in that it's kind of just shocking to see the difference between them two and Jesse, and like you say, how far they've like differed and where they've gone. But even the dialogue, and he's like, "You're apexing too early, like you apex, bitch." It's like you could drive Miss Daisy, like all that stupid dialogue. It's just like so wonderful.
Yeah.
And then just the way they look after Jesse, and it's that line where Jesse says, he's like, "Yo, Skinny, why are you doing all this?" And he's like, "You're my hero and shit." Oh God, that gets me every time. And it is that thing of just like Jesse, I think, has a good heart, and like they know that. And I know obviously he's done bad things, obviously, but I think he's a good person deep down, if that counts. And
I 100% feel he is. He's just been put in the wrong situations.
Yeah, he's been led astray. I think he hasn't had a good guidance figure, which I guess
his parents seem like quite normal, genuine parents.
They were, but I think they were a bit like overbearing. But I just wanted to say like that the Skinny Pete and Badger bit I think was just perfect. Although I was really upset when Badger gets in the car to drive away, and Jesse doesn't say anything. He just like slaps the door, and I'm like, "Say goodbye, man! Like, come on, what are you doing?"
Yeah, it's like the connection was really only with Skinny Pete.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, poor Badger, man! Jeez, he's the one driving to Mexico."
I never noticed that before.
He just kind of slaps the car.
That is true. But yeah, I agree. I love that they got such a good bond.
Yeah,
and I love it when he's blocking the car and he's like, "No, we're basically handling this. We're getting you out of this."
Yeah.
Like,
it's a nice little hero moment for Skinny Pete.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't expect him to ever get one, and it's like it's just so sweet. Sweet.
There's like no questions asked. Whatever you need, you're getting.
Yeah. And there's that whole thing. Skinny Pete and Badger, the money they get from Walter at the end of Breaking Bad for doing the laser thing, I think that's the money that they give Jesse, which is like, oh, so sweet. They literally give him everything because they love him so much.
I was thinking that when he was making up the trying to make up the money for the vacuum man. I was thinking, why would they have that much money on them?
Yeah,
They just had it in their pockets.
I know.
Did Jesse not have money elsewhere though? That's still, I can't remember now. But like,
Well, he's been in captivity, isn't he? He's probably got nothing.
Yeah, and you can't go back to the place that you used to know because it's going to be hot.
feel like his house or something. I don't guess so.
So then, I guess you got after that you see Jesse Plemons, right?
Yes,
And
let's talk about that.
yeah. Obviously, not to be crude or anything, but he looks different, which is fine. Which is fine. I'm not saying that's an issue, but I do remember at the time lots of people. I mean, there's obviously lots of memes, but there is a certain level of needing to suspend disbelief, right? With
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's. I remember at the time thinking, man, come on now, you can't pass this. I feel like they tried so hard to like prolong the amount of time before you see him. Because I feel like yes, it's his voice. Come on, it's him. It's Todd. Come on, guys, it's Todd. Before you actually see him.
Yeah, because he's like half covered by the grating as well. At first, I thought, oh, maybe they're just going to have this quick scene with him, and it's just him covered, and you don't fully see him. Because you've seen Jesse Plemons around as well, so you know he's bigger than he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite funny.
Watching it now after so long not watching Breaking Bad, it works for me now. Because he looks like Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, he's just Jesse Plemons. It's like, oh, it's Todd. Yeah, it's great.
But he's so far removed from that skinny guy that was in Breaking Bad.
I know. I feel like Jesse Plemons should just never have been that skinny. He just suits. I think he suits the way he looks now.
He does.
He doesn't suit that like sort of skinny teenager look. But yeah, he's a true. I don't know what the correct term is, but he's like a sociopath, right? He's insane.
Yes.
Because he almost treats Jesse like a pet, and I feel like he doesn't realize what's going on. He doesn't. Obviously, he knows he's got Jesse hostage, but I don't think he fully realizes like what that means for their relationship. And he's treating him like a friend. And he's like, later on, he's like, "Oh, we can go grab pizza," and it's just like, this is so weird. And he's like, pat him on the head in the car.
And it's just to show like the obviously the mind games Jesse's been put through, where he could have got out of that situation. He could have done that, but for some reason he feels like he can't because he has that hold over him.
Yeah, and well, it's obviously I think they threaten Brock, right? They say, they like, if you try and escape again, like we'll get Brock. But oh god, he's chilling, and I think the fun thing about like Breaking Bad and Saul, there's obviously a lot of different enemies and antagonists rather, but they never just do the same one. So you've obviously got Gus Fring, and then in Saul you had Laulo, who was very different and like flamboyant, and Jesse Plemons' character Todd was just again all completely different, and I think he was the perfect foil for Jesse. I keep saying Jesse Plemons and then Jesse, so it's probably very confusing to listeners. I do apologize, Todd. But yeah, just utter sociopath.
That's what works so well, like Breaking Bad, though, when he is just this guy who was tagging along for the ride, and then he ends up shooting that kid, which is great to see the tarantula again, by the way.
Yeah,
nice little throwback.
Crazy, and he's got the what's it? The snow globe with Lydia, right? Because he's obsessed with Lydia.
Yes.
In Breaking Bad, and the snow globe is him and like Lydia on like a little throne
like a
or something.
teacup or something.
Yeah. And then the guy's like, "No crazy in this house." It's like, yeah, man, we're all thinking the same thing.
I thought that was great though. The whole segment of finding the dead maid in his house, and it was a nice little stray away from the actual main storyline. And the whole reason why he's actually in the apartment.
But I just say, if you're the maid and you found that amount of money in someone's house, you're just putting it back and moving on.
I don't know. Well,
you wouldn't go take it to the person who owns the house. You'd be like,
"Look all this money I found."
Like, I found your, like, they obviously know it's there. True. They put it there for a reason. Like,
she was obviously a very innocent, naive woman.
Yeah,
and she paid for it.
He does say she was a very sweet lady. Sweet lady.
It's what she would have wanted when she was buried.
It's what she would have wanted. It is almost an element of black comedy when they're about to roll her up, and then he's like, "Oh no, unroll her," and he takes the belt off her neck and puts it on. Like, he doesn't even put it to one side. He puts the belt back on. It's just like, oh my god, this guy, it's insane.
It just adds to how fucking nuts this guy is.
Yeah.
And they just fucking push her out the window.
I know. And then Jesse's in the back of the car with her whilst Todd's singing that song, like doing his arm in the air, honking like at the lorry
driver.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane. I do think this is one moment where, like, upon rewatches, the Jesse and Todd scenes do feel a little slow. And I think if you weren't as invested as like a Breaking Bad viewer would be, you might start getting a bit, this is like what's going on here.
It felt a bit unnecessary. It felt like this would have worked in the Breaking Bad. If this was during, like, before it finished and it was in an episode and they broke it down like this, then yeah, I felt it would have worked. But in the film, it feels like, I don't know.
It's like, why is this necessary? So the whole reason they're showing is to show the money. There's money hidden in the house, and then it's just to get a scene to show how broken he is. Basically, it's just for 2 moments that we're seeing that whole segment. Really,
you've just reminded me what I was thinking of earlier.
Oh, so yes,
you said earlier about Jesse, like, being free and that's all you need, but and he's free at the end of Breaking Bad. But I think there's a difference, right? And I'm going to get all metaphorical here.
Okay.
But so I think, like, whilst Jesse is physically free, he's still, like, mentally imprisoned by everything that happened to him. And this film is a journey of him, like, learning to let go all the things from his past. He's thinking about them and learning from them. You know, the conversation with Kristen Ritter's character, I forget her name, like with Walt, and all the interactions with Todd. It's all about him, like, learning and growing and just accepting what's happened and then moving on with his true freedom.
Yeah.
Also, it's like he's not free because the police are after him. Like, even at the end of Breaking Bad, you would know that the police would be after him. So
It's true.
He has to escape that level, isn't it? It's like it's out of the pan and into the
You would just make your assumptions, though, wouldn't you? And say, he's gone to the Hoover Man.
Yeah, Hoover Man. Yeah,
it's always the Hoover Man.
Is it Robert Forster or Foster?
Yeah, Robert Forster. Yeah.
He is great, isn't he? Like, he's such a wonderful actor and just such, like, screen presence. Like, I feel like you can just keep watching him over and over. Like,
he dominates
he's
the
so
scene.
good. He really does. He's so good. That whole scene.
This is his last film, wasn't it? Before he died.
It was. I think he died, like, the day before it came out.
Yeah,
something like that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. That whole scene when Jesse goes to the vacuum guy, I think that might be my favourite scene when he's like putting the money back in his bag and he says, he pretends, he calls the police and Jesse thinks he's joking. And I feel like you get that.
That's proper Jesse. That's
when you
him
get,
trying to think he's smart, but he's actually...
Yeah, exactly. But it's so nice to see because it's like the whole thing, and they make a point at the start, Jesse's a teenager still. At least he was then. I don't know. He might be 20 now. I don't know. But he's young, right? And it's that youthful, like,
arrogance.
But it's just kind of sweet because he's this broken person, but it kind of comes out a bit there where he's just, he forgets it and he's like, and you know how I know, like, and he's doing all that sort of stuff. And then the police actually turn up behind it. It's like, such a great moment. I loved it.
I do like that he actually lets him go, though. He makes sure it's like, this is your moment to get out of here.
He's like, remember your bag? He's like, oh, crap. He goes back and gets it.
A 6'5" guy as well.
Yeah. Tattoo under his right eye.
Of an insect or a bug or something.
Yeah. That was my Robert Forster impression.
I was expecting to see, like, the Simpsons movie where they arrest the wrong person. Like, there's actually somebody out on the street who's 6'5"
that
with a bug tattoo.
Yeah.
So next would be the whole segment, really, with the fake police. Did you think they were real police do you remember first watching this?
Yeah, I thought they were real police. Yeah. But I can be quite naive sometimes, so maybe a keener eye. Maybe I feel like Ben would have been like, nah, these guys.
Well, we don't know who those characters are. We've never met them before.
No, they were made for this, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which the flashback of showing the welding of the chain, that was heartbreaking.
It was sad, yeah. And this what's his name? Is it Candy Welding or something? The guy.
I did write it down.
Yeah, it's Candy. It's spelled with a K though, isn't it?
Candy. Yeah, Candy
like,
Welding.
What? This guy's evil. Like, he's just got called to a job and he's like, some dude, like, hostage. Yeah, I'll sort you out. Don't worry.
Cool.
Like,
No worries.
Who is this guy? Jeez.
Well, this is why that they must know where the money is. They must know what was going on there. Like, they're all in the same circle. They're they're getting around prostitutes and doing coke, and they're a gang, aren't they? Just under
Yeah,
that's their hangout, is a warehouse where they can weld.
Yeah, they definitely know that Todd had money stored away. Yeah. But yeah, I did think they were the police, and it's funny on rewatches because you straight away know he's saying, "Hey, Lieutenant, get in here," and you,
yes,
and then you're like, "Oh, right, yeah." So like that's why he's acting so
second time.
Suspicious. Yeah. But no, I thought that whole scene was quite good. Poor Jesse.
There are so many bits of it that work overall.
Yeah, for sure. I think it kind of adds to the stakes as well on a second watch, because you're like, Jesse, no, don't put the guns down. Don't put the guns down. You're in a position and you're winning right now.
Yeah.
Don't put the guns down.
That guy has some balls, to be fair. He was like, I'm not putting my gun down.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, fair play.
It's like, we had this standoff, and that's why at the end he's like, we're going to do another standoff. This is time to actually show it.
Yeah, that was a the standoff at the end was so, for me anyway, I thought it was so satisfying. And like you say, it is almost like full circle, because they have that standoff at the beginning of the film, and then it kind of comes back, and it's just, it is, I feel like, not to jump too far ahead, but it is this very Breaking Bad style, like over the top, because it's like a Western, right? They're doing this like standoff, right? And it's so over the top, but it's just so wonderful and epic, and like the twist where he's got the gun in his pocket, and then he's on fire, and the guy's like, dude, you're on fire, and he's literally on fire. It's so absurd in a way, and like just not real, but I thought it's so perfect for
it's
for
almost
Jesse.
like Jesse's Breaking Bad arc.
Yeah,
like you would never have thought Jesse would do that, like just plain blood shoot a man in front of him. Like that's not his character.
Yeah,
but he's now he's been broken down rather than Breaking Bad, and like that's what he's come to now. Like fuck this, like I'm out of here.
Going from when he killed what's his name?
The
other scientist.
Gale.
Oh yeah.
From when he was broken up so bad from killing Gale. I guess he was a little bit more innocent though than this welding guy.
Yeah, he was doing sad go-karting after that, wasn't he? After Gale. And it like you say, it's that thing of Jesse learning from everyone and all these moments in his past, and there's almost like an element of Mike in there, or even Walt, where Jesse at the beginning of Breaking Bad would never have like done this or even had the smarts to do something like this, but he goes in and he kind of pulls it off completely. And then also like he does like a hell yeah science moment, right, where he does the flame on the propane tank and leaves it running. Like he knows apparently there's enough time to get out, and then it explodes. It's like
absolutely. So cool. What I like as well, it's almost like the parallels of when Walt came and saved him. It felt very much like this is the Walt standoff moment. This is Jesse's standoff moment, and where it's like, I can do this myself. I didn't need Walt to do this. This is his moment to do exactly what Walt was doing. Yeah,
exactly. And that's why the film is kind of nice. And again, it's not necessary, but it does give Jesse that moment. Because he doesn't... Does he really have something like this at the end of Breaking Bad? He kills Todd, right?
He kills Todd. He strangles him, right?
He strangles him.
Yeah, strangles him.
And then he tells... Yeah.
His standoff moment with Walt, because he says, do it yourself, and throws the gun at him.
Yeah. But that's obviously the very mature mature way out. But here Jesse gets like a proper epic moment, and like a Breaking Bad epic moment. So that was cool. You did get like Western sort of vibes. I know it's obviously only like one little scene, but it has got that sort of vibe to it, right?
With the little pistol gun as well.
I love that he's got like the two old-fashioned guns, and they're both different. It's very Taxi Driver.
I was gonna say, did you guys did you see it coming, the second gun when it went down?
I did.
When you first watched?
Yeah.
Did you?
Because I thought he's got two guns and he's got the other hand in his pocket.
Yeah.
It's so obvious when you look back on it. It's like he's not why are they not telling him to take his hand out of his pocket? Like, like hands out your pockets. Like, show me your hands.
I do love that as well afterwards, when he's just literally firing and firing, just trying to shoot, and it takes so long to kill that other guy.
I know, it could have gone very differently. Jesse could have gone. That when he does steal those guns from his parents' house, he does because they make a point of it, right? And again, on like rewatches, you can tell that they're showing you he's got two guns, but he holds them so awkwardly. I feel like people would never really do this. He brings them out the safe, and he brings them up so high, and he's like looking at them like side to side, and it's just a bit I was like, oh, that's a bit like for
Show the camera.
purposes. Yeah, exactly. A little bit higher. But I guess, they were just trying to set that up. But I completely missed it the first watch. I found it heartbreaking, by the way, when he calls his parents. That was so sad for me.
Yeah.
Just you good people, and it was like that.
It's nice.
You tried your best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just saying it's all me. Don't blame yourselves. Even though they never fucking respected him anyway. But
Yeah.
they always love their brother more.
I thought he was going to rob them or something like that, like get the money off them, but
Yeah, that's what I thought. I forgot that he actually just went back for the guns.
Yeah, and I think the only reason he calls them is because he knows people are watching the house, and the call will get them
again,
off
that's
the
that
house.
whole mic
Yeah.
coming out in him.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that immediately when he called. I was like, "This is the worst." You're basically showing where you are. And I was like,
Yeah.
Does he go and meet them and get the money from them? Because that's a really bad idea.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that he doesn't steal. I know he takes the gun, but he doesn't steal money from his
Yes,
parents.
yes.
That's kind of nice because
Yes.
it leaves him with that like redeeming quality. Whereas I think if he stole money from his parents, I mean, it'd be fine, but it would feel a little like, Jesse is like kind of a little bit bad after all.
It goes against everything he just apologised for, basically, on that phone call.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, he does take the gun, but fuck it, that's his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's basically the massive ending conclusion of him trying to get out and find the money, and we get these just nice little reflective moments. Walter White scene,
Yes.
bald cap scene,
With bald
which you
cap,
called very
yes.
obvious bald cap.
Yeah, that's one you can't look past. I can get past the fat Todd, but the
Mega
ball
Mind.
cap is a little bit.
I thought Conehead.
It's just it's just so big.
So they again on the Blu-ray post film reel that they show, they obviously knew that his head looked really big, and they did like visual effects to reduce it a little bit.
Really?
But obviously not enough because but again I think it's tricky because apparently he was doing a Broadway show, so he couldn't cut his hair, so they didn't really have a way around it. But yeah, it does look silly, doesn't it?
Real head's squished though.
Yeah, but he's got quite big voluminous hair, doesn't he?
Yeah, true.
Brian. Yeah. How did you guys think the Walter scene was necessary, and like were you happy to see it? Or
I was happy to see it.
so.
It was nice. I mean, like, you didn't need it. Like, if you didn't have it, you wouldn't be like, oh my god, they missed it. But it was like, if you're gonna do the memory lane and have it, it's quite.
What did they talk about again?
They're watching a pineapple.
yeah.
What
He's Walt is talking to Jesse about what he should do,
going to college.
Yeah. Which I guess maybe that's what Jesse is thinking of now, because he's on the way to Alaska in the back of the vacuum guy's truck, and I guess he's thinking about what next. So that's why he thinks back to this conversation. So I mean, in like a story way, it does work, but it's always that thing when you bring people back. Is it for the sake of it, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Also, that must have been like earlier. It was like season 1 or 2. They still we had the camper van, didn't they? And
Yeah, it was early, but
Probably a little bit reflective as well, being like, that was the moment I could have turned things around and just gone my own way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, it's deep.
Yeah.
We're getting deep on the podcast. Yeah. And then he thinks about Jane, that's her name, Kristen Ritter's character, Jane.
Yes.
The conversation with her, and he says to her, I like your idea that the universe will tell you where to go. And then she actually turns around and says, no, that's a dumb idea. Like, I'm going to start making decisions for myself, sort of thing. Obviously, it didn't go very well for her.
No.
But I guess that's what Jesse's thinking. He's got a fresh start, right?
Yeah. It's almost like a couple of scenes as well. Just the same thing as the Walt one, where like, that was the moment. It's like she could have gone her own way.
That was his happy moment as well.
Yeah.
Like, in the whole of Breaking Bad, that was the only time he was like kind of happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He never said he really had his life together as such, but yeah.
Yeah.
So sad. There's so many moments that he could have kind of turned around and avoided things, but didn't. So.
I also like the line in the Walt scene where he says, "You don't have to wait your whole life to do something special."
I think that's like the line of the film, right? That's the one that hits you.
Yeah.
It really is.
Very good.
God. Because I suppose, and again, that's one which has more effect if you're a Breaking Bad fan, because you know what it means for Walter as well as Jesse. Because I guess it's even more about Walter than it is Jesse. And it has like such an impact because you know everything that's happened. But if you didn't, it's kind of like, oh, that's
the only reason why he did it all.
Yeah. But
I think it's like, I think 100. It's like when we get to the end of Walt's journey, I feel like he's in the mindset of like, I would have done it all again, because this is basically this is me escaping my life.
He has that conversation with Skyler at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he was like,
I did it for me.
I did it for me. Yeah.
Like
that's a no regrets. Like
and then for Jesse, I'm like, you didn't have to do this something special. This wasn't for you. This was your time to escape this.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. He just gets dragged into everything, Jesse, because he's kind of misguided and trusting, and in the wrong crowd, and he just gets pulled further and further in.
Absolutely.
And he kind of finally escapes at the end of this, but at what cost?
And then just before he drives off into the sunset, we get him giving the letter. Now, I found it very interesting we don't actually see what the letter says.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to. I mean, it's like the whole end of Breaking Bad again right now, isn't it?
You don't need to see.
It's like, how many people are going to start asking him, what's on the letter? What was the letter? What did he do next?
A whole film about that letter.
And what Jesse's like a high school teacher. Teaching chemistry to kids.
It is that thing of sometimes it is better unsaid and left in your mind. And I guess it's more about what it represents, right? And I guess that was the last thing in Jesse's past that he needed to tie off. Was reaching out to Brock. So I guess that's why. And again, it's more about what that represents. He's sending a letter, and that's the last thing, and then he's off into the final frontier. Is it the final frontier?
Final Frontier.
The last frontier, isn't it?
Is it the last frontier?
I think Final Frontier. I think Final Frontier.
I think it's last
Star
because
Trek,
I thought he was going to say Final Frontier. Space is the final frontier.
Oh yeah, that's
Space.
it.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of Star Trek in there. The last frontier, I think it is Alaska. I don't know, but
I guess it's a little bit of closure for Jesse, but Brock as well. Just because I guess he could have just been saying exactly like he surely had no idea why his mother was killed on that doorstep.
No.
So I don't reckon he would have told him he was killed by gangsters or Nazis.
It would have troubled him his whole life.
I've never thought about what the letter would have actually said. Now you say it, because what was he?
I think it's just life lessons.
Yeah, your mum got killed. It's like, I know that. Mate.
Reach out and make good decisions. Don't do what I did.
Yeah, don't sell meth with your chemistry teacher. Is what he said on the letter.
It might sound funny. You might make some money.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. No, I don't know what he would have said. I guess maybe he would have just explained that the Nazis killed his mum. Which,
apologising.
It wasn't me, it was them.
And Brock gets the letter and he's like, the Nazis killed my mum. Like, what sort of joke is this? It's just like some sick joke. Yeah.
Delivered by Vacuum Man.
Yeah. Like, what's going on? Poor Brock. Maybe that's what we need next is Brock's story.
Well, this is Paul asked me this during the Patreon. He said, "What if they made another Breaking Bad spin-off? Who would you want it on?" And I said probably Walt Jr. Okay. And he mentioned Brock.
Walt Jr. just eating his breakfast. He goes and works for Nestle. He gets high up at Kellogg's, and he's just makes everyone breakfast. Makes America breakfast. That's
breakfast bad.
Breakfast bad. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I won't spoil the Patreon post, but I saw someone post about the vacuum repairman and like how his story would be interesting to see how he got into that line of work, or the veterinarian from Saul and how he gets all his contacts. But there's so much.
I feel like everyone else has kind of had their little.
I think there's complete closure now.
Yeah. I know you haven't obviously finished Saul, Adam, But would you want more in the Breaking Bad universe, both of you, or do you think?
I don't know. There is the element of it that everyone's getting a bit too old now. Like, you have to just suspend belief.
You could even have
on
just
a lot of things
even a fresh
at the
story
moment.
though,
Like future story.
I don't know. Like, in 10 years' time, we see Jesse making meth with one of his high school students.
Slip back into it.
No. What, in like after he's gone through all of this in El
Yeah, he's in
Camino?
Alaska. He's become a chemistry teacher in Alaska.
He's like, oh, screw this, I'm just making meth again. Alaska's too cold.
He gets cancer. He has to go make some meth.
Oh god, full circle. Yeah. How about you, Paul? Would you want more Breaking Bad universe stuff?
I'm happy. I think there's closure with all the big characters that we've had. I think there's closure for everyone.
I'd watch it if they made it, but I don't know. It's like even Better Call Saul. We weren't screaming for it. We weren't like it had to happen.
No, that's true.
There's very few shows that have done what this has done. I mean, obviously, fucking fantastic what they've done with it. So I'm not complaining, but
yeah, I think I'd be happy if that was everything. Now you got, the main series, you've got the prequel, and you've got the spin-off film about Jesse. And I feel like we're so spoiled as fans. It's enough, even though I could just consume more and more until I became this like big Breaking Bad monster.
a big ball of meth.
Just a big ball of blue meth, yeah. But yeah, no, I think I'm kind of happy. I'm satisfied with everything.
But you've kind of tantalised me with the vacuum cleaner, man.
I know, it would be cool, wouldn't it? Because you could set that.
You couldn't use him though, and he'd be a bit of
Yeah, you do it before, like you get a young actor, a whippersnapper, and set it, I don't know, in the 80s. Yeah. Breaking Bad in the 80s. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Be a young Walt setting up his company with, what's his name?
Yeah, oh God, could you imagine?
Even older.
Yeah, even older, but even younger. Yeah, that would be funny, wouldn't it? God. No, I think they'll stop there, you'd assume. Apparently Vince is working on something else.
He said it sounds science fiction, but it's not science fiction. That's the thing I've heard about it.
Okay, that's an interesting.
Says, I think the line he said was, it's about questioning our reality.
Wow.
That sounds science fiction, right?
It does, yeah. But the problem is, anything Vince Gilligan does, I'm just like, inject it into me. Just give it to me. Like, put me on the drip. I'm happy. So I'm probably...
Give me those dolly shots.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I think that's El Camino.
What's your scores?
Let's give our scores. I'll go first. Let's go in the order we went. I'm sticking with the score I gave it first time. It is a very great 8. No higher.
Okay.
Great 8.
See, this is the thing that Francis said. My brain gives it an 8. My heart gives it a 10. So I stick in the middle and I give it a 9.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
I didn't think you'd go as high as 10, Adam, but I am the same. My brain says 8. My heart says 10. I'd even go higher than 10 if I could, but 10. So I think I'd go 9 as well, just to split the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I still think that's generous. I think it's probably not a 9, but I have to give it a 9. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
You can give whatever you want, Francis.
Yeah. Well, there we are. A 9 then. Lock it in.
Okay, we're locked in. That gives us a very nice 8.66. So that would give it an 8.66, which would make it an 8.7. But Ben has given us permission to give his rating, which is an 8 out of 10. So it actually brings it down to an 8.5. So it actually, if it gets to the top of the 8.5s, it'll make it to number 20 of our top 20.
Okay.
Oof.
So we might have to wait till Ben gets back here, but let's take a break for a little while and let's just see if we can place it anywhere. So we took a little break there and we went for our scores and we placed it within the 8.5s. We got past the first one, which was True Romance, which was the bottom of the 8.5s, but it immediately was stopped by Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So it's sitting at about 25th place out of all the films we've done, which is pretty fair. It's still pretty good.
I think that sounds fair to me.
Yeah.
I don't know every film on this list, but yeah, I think, 25 is pretty good.
Yeah, defo. We'll leave it up to Ben to actually give it a proper placement when he gets back. But yeah, I'm happy with that.
Cool. Love it.
Would you like to hear what some of our listeners on Twitter have to say about this film?
Oh, I would love to. That sounded really sarcastic. No, I wasn't being sarcastic. I would really love to. Yeah.
Right, the first one's from I'm Too Cool, and he says, the big question was, is it any good? It definitely was. Not just good, but great. It feels like an extended version of Felina. Very much an epilogue, and a perfect one at that. It doesn't reach the heights of Breaking Bad's best episode, Ozymandias, ABQ, Felina, but is nonetheless a more than satisfactory experience with masterful writing and direction by Vince Gilligan. There are some questionable time jumps present, but that didn't take away from the story that they're trying to tell. I think that's pretty much what you were saying, Francis, in your first impressions.
Yeah, I feel like we've all sort of said things along the lines of that. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Who said that?
This is I'm Too Cool.
Okay, well, I agree with you on Too Cool.
There you go.
Next up, we have one here from Jamie Irwin, and they said, loved it, but you definitely have to watch all of Breaking Bad first.
I would say so. We kind of said that. It won't work.
Sounds about right, Jamie.
Yeah, it won't work on its own. I feel like we're only giving these scores because we have so much love for the actual series.
Yeah, because of the heart.
Yes.
It's hard to disconnect it, right?
Absolutely. Right, so that is the end of El Camino. But as a special guest on this podcast, Francis, you get to put your score to any film we've done before on the podcast. So would you like to reveal what you want to put your score to?
Okay, that's a lot of pressure because I know a lot of people listen to this podcast and they have, a lot of opinions about films. So I hope
it's up there with the IMDb top 250.
Well, exactly.
This is what this list is.
But it's a lot of pressure because if people don't agree with me, then they might come after me on Twitter.
Fuck them. Who cares?
No, I'm sure they're all lovely, all the listeners. But so
Apart
for me,
Ben's the one you got to watch out for.
100%.
So I'm going to make a statement which will definitely be polarizing. But just to put this out there, I haven't seen a ton of older. I mean, just in general, a lot of older films, but older action films.
Okay.
So for me, I don't know if you know what I'm about to say, but for me, the best action film I've ever seen, Mission Impossible Fallout. Because honestly, I just from start to finish with that film, I was enthralled, on the edge of my seat. It's so much damn fun.
Absolutely.
And I just think it's the perfect action film. Obviously, it's a modern action film, and I think Ben probably likes a lot of the 80s ones, if I'm correct, like Cliffhanger and those sorts of things. If that's, even the same genre, I don't know.
He doesn't actually like Cliffhanger, though.
Does he not? No. What an example to bring up. I don't know why I thought of Cliffhanger. So yeah, I know saying it's the best action film ever is probably going to split opinions, but for me, it's perfect. It's a 10 out of 10, and I have to give it a 10.
Oh, amazing. I love that. Yeah. I absolutely love that. I think that film's wonderful.
It is
myself.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I hope the listeners agree.
I think a lot of people agree,
Good. Yeah. Well, maybe it's not that polarizing an opinion then.
If we had done Moneyball or La La Land or The Social Network, would you have picked those films over?
Well, yeah, so I do love all those films. The only thing is with The Social Network, I've spoken to Ben about The Social Network before, and I know he absolutely hates it, so I'd probably be too scared to give that a 10, because he'd probably be so angry.
He'll be really high up our standings and just annoyed about it every time.
Yeah, I'd ruin that. I honestly do, on a quick sidebar, I do love The Social Network so much, and I rewatch it all the time, and I think it could potentially be one of my favourite films ever. It could be.
Wow.
It could be my favourite film. I don't know. I love it so much. I don't know why. I just do. Really do. But yeah, sorry, Ben, if you're listening.
Right. So, you giving it a 10. Let's see, actually, what it gets rated now. I'm just actually trying to work out what everyone gave it. So, Adam gave it a 6. I gave it a 9. Ben gave it an 8.
I gave it a 6.
A 6?
Yeah, you gave it a 6.
I thought I gave it a 7 or an 8.
No. So it was on a 7.7.
What did you give it, Paul?
I gave it a 9.
Yeah, that's good score.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was surprised I gave it a 6, to be honest.
So everyone, it was sitting on a 7.7, but your 10 out of 10, Francis, has brought it up to an 8.25. It's jumped quite a nice little jump on that list,
Juicy.
actually. And it's got a nice little score, so we can actually work out now the new placement of this film. Right, so there's only 3 other films that are on an 8.25. That is The Straight Story, The Vanishing, and Invisible Man. It, for now, has to go at the bottom of that list until Ben actually decides where he'd like for it to be placed. But I think, yeah, that's a good little jump for it. I love that film.
What position is this? Sorry.
So at the bottom, it's at the bottom. So it's below The Straight Story, and then above that is The Vanishing, and then Invisible Man above that.
In terms of like the number though on the leaderboard, sorry.
Okay, so it.
Sorry, did we not get to that yet?
No. I don't normally say it, but
okay.
I'm
just intrigued.
41st place.
41st.
Yeah,
But it could go up to like the end.
Considering we've done 131 films.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. Happy with that.
That kind of puts in perspective where El Camino's sitting.
I'd have it in the top 10, to be honest, but that's just me.
Well, it probably would be for me as well.
Yeah. No,
right, wonderful. Cool. Great little pick there. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, before we move on to wrapping this whole episode up, I just got to say what film we're doing next. Do you remember what we're doing next, Adam?
Yes, it's the one with Katie and Oti.
Yes, we have some more guests on the podcast. We got Katie and Oti from the For Your Reference podcast. This is the film they picked that basically inspired the round we're doing, which is 2019. Yes. And we're doing The Two Popes.
Yes.
Ooh.
Have you seen that, Francis?
I haven't seen it, but it is on my list. Not on my Letterboxd list, but in my mental list of films, which I forget to watch.
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll watch that and I'll listen because I'm intrigued to see what you guys think and what I think. You know, I don't even know yet.
we have all watched it, the 3 Filmbusters, so it'd be interesting to return to it and see if it holds
good.
up. Yeah,
it looked good when I saw the trailers and everything.
No spoilers, but I did enjoy it first time.
You did?
Yes.
Okay,
I
that's
thought it was
cool.
okay. I don't remember anything in it.
Well,
I remember sitting in the garden and playing football.
Spoilers.
Right, everyone, so this is the time when we talk about our patrons and what they've been watching. If you want to become a patron, you become a patron at www.patreon.com/filmbusters. And you become a patron just like the likes of Andy Bishop.
Yes, you can. You can also join Ben from Film Vloggers.
And Mark, Steve from Movie Drone.
Or Home Video Hustle, that's Brent.
Yes, and you've got Luke Human.
Yeah, and you've also got Fiona Stewart.
And then you have Sean Panda Nicholson.
Yes. Nerd Revert is also there.
You have the wonderful Julio.
And you also have the wonderful Jamie Russell.
Yes, and next week's special guest, all the way from Australia, is Katie and Oti.
Absolutely. So, they've sent us what they've been watching this week, the good and the bad. First, we have Luke Human, and he says, "The worst." We all know whose fault this is, so there's no need to mention names, but I was compelled to watch 2001's Freddy Got Fingered. This is the Movie Drone podcast, by the way, who did this film, and I've never seen it, but I've never wanted to. A hugely puerile mash of Tom Green sketches held together with a thin narrative. There are a few genius moments of comedy, and Green appeals to me in a way I can't quite explain, but the tone was not for me. I didn't dislike it totally, but there's not enough range in the knob gags to satisfy me, no matter what species are involved. 5 out of 10. Have either of you seen Freddy Got Fingered?
No. I heard it's the worst film ever, though.
Yeah, it's one of the few films that I've started and couldn't finish because it was just so bad.
Oh, really?
I think I got about 10 minutes in and I thought, no, I'm stopping. I'm doing something else. Yeah.
I've just never bothered watching it. It just looks bad.
Yeah, it looks awful. I don't even know why I put it on, to be honest.
I think it's renowned as like one of the worst films. Like,
yeah.
I just know
Curiosity and all that.
there's like a moment in it where he's playing a piano and he's got like sausages hanging from it and he's eating them or something, and he's got things hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. Oh, so weird. There's a lot of, from what I remember,
Have you
there's
seen
like
them, Paul?
I haven't seen it. I've seen like clips.
Yeah, from what I remember, there's lots of like penis humor.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that at some point there's like a horse involved, and it's just, I mean, you make of that what you will. I might be making that up, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's something that happens. I don't know. Yeah.
We'll just say it is. Who cares?
Yeah.
He also said the best. 2017's What Happened to Monday. This superb science fiction action thriller makes brilliant use of a top-of-her-game Noomi Rapace in a uniquely challenging role that exploits her considerable range. Like the best sci-fi, this is able to present weighty social and ethical themes within an entertaining and exhilarating plot scaffold. 9 out of 10. I think that's a Netflix special.
Okay. I've never heard of it before.
Yeah. What Happened to Monday? I watched it a very long time ago. Let's see what I said about it. Oh, I didn't say anything about it. I just gave it a 7 out of 10. So it's bang average.
Says it all.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked it, Luke. I remember it being fine. It's like Luma Rapace and there's like loads of clones of her or something.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
Okay.
Go on then, Adam.
Yeah. Next up, we have Julio, and he said, "Am I too late to talk about how much I loved The Sandman on Netflix? I'm in awe of how they nailed the tone of my favourite comic book, and I can only hope they renew the show long enough for them to complete the story. A must watch for any fan of fantasy and or Neil Gaiman's?
Yeah, Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman's writing.
I'm very interested to watch this show.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested too. I've never heard of it, but I keep seeing it everywhere, so I'm kind of intrigued now.
I know
It's got good reviews.
Yeah, Ben's read the graphic novels, and I've always been meaning to, but I had never have. And he swears
I never
by
heard of it in any capacity before it became a Netflix thing.
No, me neither.
It's very, very famous graphic novels.
Yeah.
I'm very interested. So yeah, I'm glad Julio liking it, and I'm going to get on it.
Cool. Shall I jump on the next one?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so Jamie Russell, I hope I do this justice. So Jamie says, as a big Predator fan, I wasn't disappointed by Prey. It takes some time to get going as it needs to establish setting and character, but it delivers the best film arguably since the iconic original, which I would agree with. I don't know about you guys.
I would agree.
Yeah, I would agree. He also says the central character is fantastic and gives so much needed gender rebalance into a notoriously masculine franchise. I'm glad that it didn't go for a more 12A approach and kept plenty bloodily dispatched kills in too. Yeah, I mean, it does get pretty gruesome. I would totally agree with that. I think it's the first worthwhile Predator film since the original, and it was so fresh and fun, and I wasn't expecting it at all, which was really refreshing. So yeah, I agree, Jamie.
I would agree. I don't like it as much as everyone else. I know you love the dog. You gave it extra points for the dog.
Of course you did. The dog was great.
I just have some qualms about the whole
I have
Comanche,
a few issues.
like them making such a big deal out of Comanche dubs, right, of the film. And it's like, you can listen to this whole thing in Comanche. It's like, grow some fucking balls and actually have them speak in Comanche.
That is very true. Yeah,
I didn't know any of this before. I didn't even know it was coming out. I thought it was coming out like next year or something.
Yeah.
So.
It did.
I thought it was a TV show, to be honest, and then it wasn't. So the only thing I obviously won't go on for too long, but my only disappointment with the film was they showed the Predator too much. Again, I feel like it's what you were saying, Paul. They weren't confident enough, and they showed the Predator so early, and like you just didn't need to. It would have been better if they had built it up a little bit. But I still really loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't think the Predator design was as good as the original, though.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
why.
all still practical, though.
It's practical.
Yeah, very cool. I don't know why it was different, though. Is it just a different species?
Yeah, it felt like
There's
a
more
different
than
species.
one. There's like humans. They all look a bit different, don't they?
I see.
I don't like him as much as the original Predator. I'm probably a Predator racist. There you go.
Yes.
You heard it here first. Filmbusters exclusive. Paul is a Predator racist. That's actually, I mean, out of context, Predator racist doesn't sound great, does it? But yeah, let's not maybe go into that too much.
Right, and lastly, we got Sean Pan and Nicholson. He says, "Hello, me again. This week has been a banger, but I'm going to choose Greener Grass, my pick for the best. Jocelyn Dubois and Dawn Loeb." I don't know how to pronounce those names.
Yeah, I think you did a good job, to be fair.
Expertly subvert expectations and deliver an unsettling, funny, sad, and smart dissection of the American family white picket fence neighborhoods, and I absolutely loved it. Its humor won't be for everyone. I struggled for the first 15 to 20 minutes to get to the tone, but once you are strapped in, you are taking a really wild ride. Think the Stepford Wives meets the Greasy Strangler. I absolutely loved it. Wow, that sounds interesting.
It does.
Okay.
I hadn't heard of this film before, but now I want to watch it, so I probably will.
I know that the Contrarians did an episode on it a long time ago, but I just never got round to watching it. The Stepford Wives meets the Greasy Strangler. Jesus.
I don't even know if those are real films or he's making them up, but I'm just intrigued. Also, the names of these people, it sounds made up, but, you know. Dawn Loeb? Who is that? I don't know.
Dawn Loeb.
Yeah.
And he also says, oh, here we go. Let's bring it back again. Worst thing I watched was Prey.
Oh, wow.
It's not a bad film, but I think it's a victim of its audience and my expectation. I'd heard so much praise for it, but it was just okay. I felt a bit deflated after it, and I blamed Twitter for that. I mean,
I don't even see anyone like loving it, giving it 10 out of 10s.
People are loving it though.
But it's getting a very good, like, above average. That's kind of what it's getting, like the 8s, the 7 and 8. So I wouldn't say that was a massive. I mean, that's a good height, but like.
I will say Twitter probably does ruin most things. So if there's a lot of Twitter hype, I didn't see it personally, but if there was a lot of hype, it probably would have like changed the film a bit for me too.
They ruin everything, don't they?
That bloody Twitter, yeah, gosh. Anyway, follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. And that's it. That's actually the end of the podcast. So,
cool.
Francis, just so you were saying, follow us on Twitter. Do you want to promote yourself on this channel? This podcast?
This digital space, this metaverse. It'd be great. I mean, firstly, I just want to say again, thanks for having me on.
No worries.
It's an honour to be on the Filmbusters podcast. I know a lot of people care a lot about it, and I often listen if I'm going on a long bike ride. I'll have all your voices in my ear, so
beautiful.
It's kind of nice. I say kind of nice. It's nice. But yeah, so I sometimes make videos on YouTube, just talking about films, sometimes analysing them, sometimes getting far too pretentious, but it's kind of fun. So if that sounds like your sort of thing, go check it out. It's Francis Films on YouTube. You can just search it, and I'll post it on Twitter. And
I'd imagine we put a link in the bottom of this as well, on the bottom of the tweet.
And if you do come from the podcast, say hello in the comments and say you've come, and I'll say hello back. Oh. And we'll have a lovely exchange of words, I'm sure.
What are you up to?
It'd
Not
be
much.
lovely.
You.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it'd be lovely to have you there, but no pressure at all.
He's got a great channel. He's very wonderful at editing, I've got to say.
Thank you. Yes,
You've definitely got to go over there.
Yeah, we try to make some cool stuff. So.
And if you just hang about on that channel, maybe subscribe, there might be a video at some point popping out where the Filmbusters will appear on it, because we've already appeared in it once. Back.
Yeah, unfortunately Paul wasn't there, but we had Adam and Ben talking about Better Call Saul in the mid-season break. So, but now that it's finished, once Adam and Ben have caught up, we're gonna dissect everything, get into it, cry, laugh, get angry at each other, cry again, and just talk about everything. So yeah, I'm sure you guys will love it if you're fans of the show.
Absolutely will. 100%. Cool. Thank you so much for coming along today, Francis. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, honestly. Cheers. Bye.
See you later, people.
Filmbusters.